You've all seen the viral videos blowing up on TikTok and Instagram. DJs dropping insane edits and mashups that sends the crowd wild. But have you ever wondered how you can create something like that yourself? Well, you're in luck because this is the video you've been looking for. Today I'm going to be breaking down the exact process of making your own edits. And we're going to be covering everything from finding the perfect track to edit, splitting the song into separate parts to isolate the acapella, finding the key of the acapella so the vocals match the instrumentation, building the drums, arranging the track, and then finally mastering that track for the club. So the first thing we need to do is find a song that we want to work on. And the key thing to do here is think about your goals for the edit. If you're aiming to make something that's viral, you need to pick a track that's popular in your genre. But for me, I like to approach it a little bit differently. When I hear a song that I love, but it doesn't quite fit into the music I play in my DJ sets, I think, how can I make this work for me? For example, I listen to a lot of hip hop and R&B, but in my DJ sets, I play more mid-tempo stuff, going all the way up to like house and garage. So what I then want to do is take a track that I love, make a version that fits seamlessly into my sets. And for this video, I wanted to break down my edit of No Worries track Link Up. So one of the most important steps after choosing your track is to figure out the key and the tempo. And this is where Mixed in Key comes in, and I'm thrilled to say that they're actually sponsoring this video. Mixed in Key 11 is an amazing tool for DJs and producers. With just a drag and drop, it analyzes your track and provides you with the key and the tempo. And this is essential for keeping everything in harmony, especially when you're layering samples or building around an acapella. And if you're a DJ, it goes even further by showing you energy level and also providing you with the cue points. And this is really helpful when you're preparing your sets. Plus, it seamlessly integrates with Serato, Rekordbox, Traktor, Ableton Live, and Virtual DJ. One feature that I absolutely love and which is really important for edits is that you can import your whole library, whether that's acapellas, samples, instrumentals. Once your library's in there, it's super easy to find samples that match your acapella. And it's a massive time saver if you're making quick edits on the fly. Having everything there just in front of you means that you don't have to mess around looking for stuff on your computer. So if you're serious about creating your own edits, or if you want to streamline your workflow as a DJ, Mixed in Key is a must-have. And you can find a link to check it out on the description below. So we've chosen the track we want to edit, and now we just need to isolate the acapella. The first way is to do it straight in your DAW. And in Logic, it's got its own stem split. I think in others, they've got it as well. However, my go-to method to do this is to use a website called Lalal.ai. Having tried lots of different methods with lots of different songs, I still think this is the best one out there. As you can see, it lets you separate a variety of different elements from the track. But obviously on this one, we only need the acapella, so we're going to select vocals and instruments. And once that's done, I'll give it a quick listen to make sure it sounds okay.
Staring me down to get a clear view. Come on. Breaking your neck to get a clear view. Come on.
And then I'm going to drag it straight into my DAW. And once we've got the edit in our DAW, we're going to think about tempo. And obviously using Mixed in Key earlier, I know it's 100, but I want to make something a little bit faster. So I'm going to speed that up to 110 using Logic's time and pitch machine. And I want to use the complex algorithm in there because I think that sounds the best. So when I'm working on an edit, I like to include elements that I think people will recognize. For example, if you're into hip hop and R&B, you should already know this No Worries song.
Staring me down to get a clear view. Come on. Breaking your neck to get a clear view. Come on.
What I then like to do is add another element that I think people might recognize. That could be a sample or drums that just catch people's attention. And for this edit, I'm using a sample from J.O.B. Orchestra's track Govinda. And it's been sampled in over 50 songs, including songs by Isaiah Rashad and J. Cole, so hopefully some people will have heard it before. And I'm only going to be using the first 4 bars for this, so I'm going to loop that up. But you could take different sections of the sample and chop those, it's completely up to you. So now that we've got the acapella and the sample locked in, it's time to start working on the drums. And the sample itself is pretty instrumentally rich, so I'm not really going to add any more melodic parts. Instead, I'm just going to focus on building up the drums to bring the edit to life. And for this track, I've layered 7 drum elements. We've got a kick, a ghost kick, a shaker loop from one of my packs. There's a loop in there that I think came from a Max Graph track. Another groove heavy loop from Loop Cloud that I've reworked and chopped up to create a new rhythm. And once I had all the elements of the drums that I wanted, I then bussed them all to the same track so I could do some drum processing. And on that drum bus, I have got the Knock plugin, one of my favorite drum processing plugins. And I've just added some punch for the low end just to bring the kicks out. And then there's some airs for the mids and the highs, which are just working on the snares and the claps really. with the main parts of the edits now locked in, it's time to start working on the arrangement. And also I want to add some builds and effects just to keep it interesting. And one really important thing to remember is DJs need an intro and an outro so they can mix it in and out of other songs. And you also want to keep things interesting by bringing elements in and out throughout your track. And for this track, I just started with an 8-bar intro. That was just the sample and a shaker loop. And I'd high pass both of those just to remove the bass from the intro. And then the vocals come in for the next 8 bars. That's creating a 16-bar intro that DJs can mix into.
Bad bitches on the link up. 2 stepping in with drink up.
And as we're coming to the end of that 16-bar loop, I've added a build effect, which is drenched in reverb, just to tell you that we're going into a new section, basically.
Keep up. Staring it down to get a clear view. Come on. Breaking your neck to get a clear view. Come on. Look at the lane nigga you came with.
And at the start of that first drop, some of the drums come in. Not all of them. I'm holding some of them back to keep the interest. In that second 8 bars, the rest of the drums do come in though.
Come on. We gon' dance until the song's done. Come on. Don't hate the groove. If the bitch wanna choose, gonna shake it loose. If the nigga act rude, I'ma take the screw. Cause I only wanna dance with you. Nigga act rude.
After that section, there's a little break where it's just the sample and the acapella.
Bad bitches on the link up. Hey.
Before we go back into a second drop.
Spinning around, I want you all night. Fucking around, I take you home tonight.
And like I said, the track's continuously evolving to keep people interested. Then for the outro, I keep it simple, just with an 8-bar loop of just the drums and the sample. Again, that's so DJs can mix out of the track. And I think for the arrangement, it's good to listen to other songs that you like and just copy their arrangement. Get used to how other people are arranging their tracks. But the final thing you're going to want to do is master your track so it sounds great in a club. Obviously, you don't want a quiet mix with no bass. It needs to be hitting hard. And for my original tracks, I usually send them off to a mastering engineer. But for the edits, when we need something quick, I use something like Wave's Studio Rack, and they have some really nice presets in there and something called Studio Verse. They're a really good starting point and really easy to tweak depending on your mix. Again, a great tip here is to A/B your tracks. So listen to tracks that you like, see what they sound like, and try and get something similar. And there's some plugins that let you A/B within your DAW, which makes that super simple. Obviously, it's only a rough edit, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to make it sound as good as it can. And that's it, a quick introduction to making your own edits. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to drop a comment, or even better, you can join my Discord community, which is for producers and musicians. It's a great space to learn, share music, and collaborate. You'll find the link for that in the description. And also, if you're looking for some inspiration for your next track, you can download one of my sample packs. There's both free and paid options, so there's something there for everyone. And you can find the link for that down below. And finally, one last big thank you for Mixed and Key for sponsoring this video. Again, you can check out their software on the link in the description.